November 2022 recommendations. Well, I'm dealing with a few issues of my own, but anyway, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Now for the yes section. Vatican Girl, the disappearance of Amelia Gradelli, I think is her name. This is actually hella twisted. And after watching, I'm fully convinced that the church hid what happened to this poor girl. Like, I'm fully convinced. Inheritance. I promise no matter what you think this movie is about, I promise you're wrong. Yes, she inherits something, but basically a kept slave and her dad's many secrets is what she inherits. And the slave is technically a serial killer. So, wow. Black Adam. When DC does it right, they do it so right. And this movie was amazing. It connects to one of my other favorite DC movies, Shazam, and I love the character so much, and the character development amazing, and The Rock within it, and he is incredible. Trainwreck Woodstock 99. This documentary was like, why wasn't this Woodstock as peaceful as the one in the 60s? Well, let me tell you. It's because your corporate got involved and things got a little messed up, yeah. But the main reason, I get things weren't provided and kids were probably mad. However, I understand people being mad, but people now are just jerks and assholes. And you can tell that they're just being really entitled and angry college bros. And you can tell just by watching the documentary that that's all that is. That's literally all it is, because the college bros just ruined it. The corporate thing sucks, yeah. They didn't provide enough restrooms, yeah. But a lot of it, you can tell what it was from. Very obvious. It's in my opinion, but I'm correct, so. Anyway, Sins of Our Mother. Another person trying to use God to justify being evil. Luckiest Girl Alive, based on a novel. I watched this for Mila Kunis. And yeah, so she has so many lies and lies in her head that she starts to unravel which is real from reality. Royal Teen. A girl goes to school with a royal of sorts and is also has a kid or something. Carter. A man wakes up confused and unaware of a woman that's telling him about a mission in his ear, of which he's very confused. Descendants. I'm actually really like these, and the songs are pretty good. And the idea of villains having kids is really cool. And the love story in this is pretty sweet. Descendants 2. This movie is the best out of the series in my opinion, and the aesthetic of these movies is beautiful. Descendants 3. This movie is my least favorite out of them, but Dove Cameron is such a beautiful woman. She did such a great job in these movies. Spies in Disguise. I remember wanting to see this movie when it was announced, but it got delayed a while. I don't really know what happened with it, but anyway, I was excited about it, and it finally came out, and it was hilarious. Romantic Killer. This was so good and wholesome. I watched it all in one day. A girl plugs a game. She plays a game, and a wizard comes out, and it's like, hey, I will make you fall in love. So it cancels out everything she likes, which is her cat, video games, and chocolate. And it creates complex issues to make her find her love easier. And it's honestly so freaking precious, dude. Fina, Pirate Princess. Sweet anime about a princess that takes up being a pirate and goes on an adventure. Someone Borrowed. This movie has been done to death. This trope where, well, let's pretend we're dating so my family doesn't hate me or is sad. A man tries to rent a girlfriend to make his mother happier about him not settling down, and he ends up falling in love, because of course they do. Not saying I didn't enjoy it, it's just this trope has been done to death more than the love triangle. Freaks and Geeks. This show's cute and hits a chord with me more with the geek side, but I like the vibe. White Snake. I saw the sequel to this apparently without knowing it was a sequel. Green Snake, which I watched last December, coincidentally enough, which I actually preferred, but this one was very similar and the animation was beautiful. Chasing Life. I had stopped watching this show back when it first came out, and I'm not sure why, but I might have just forgotten about it. I'm catching back up on it, and the show goes, April finds out she has cancer and still tries to live her life and juggle everything. The Last Thanksgiving. I love ironic horror movies, especially holiday versions. Anyways, in this movie, this family kills people who don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but the people they're going after are people that are at work, people that probably have no choice in the matter, and some people don't have families, so I see, a lot of holes in their plans, but whatever. The Ledge. This movie was not what I expected. Not what I expected from this movie at all. So after the total scumbag of a person commits and assaults and murders a girl, he also works his friends into doing it, and he kills them later. But a woman escapes and has to survive on the ledge to try and outrun them, and she ends up doing it. It's very satisfying. She throws him off the mountain. Killer Sally. I must say I'm on Sally's side on this after watching this documentary. That might be controversial, I don't know, but I'm on her side. Don't worry, darling. This thing's very much a trip, but you could see the ending coming from a mile away. But it's very entertaining and beautifully done. I blame lots of guessing the entire ending of the movie because of all the spoilers in the trailers. Trailers show too much now because they want you to get intrigued. Nope, I think did a good job with this, which we'll come to later. They barely showed anything in their trailer. You were like, is it aliens? But you weren't actually sure. That's more how you do a trailer. They literally showed everything in Don't Worry, Darling in the trailer because I remember being like, I want to see that, even though I obviously can see what's going on here. But, still enjoyed it. League of Super Pets. I watched the Crypto the Superdog cartoon when I was younger, so yes, I was intrigued about this. And the amount of Easter eggs for, DC in this was hilarious. I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and it was funny. Enola Holmes. Upon a co-worker's recommendation, these to me, I wasn't very interested in the story until he was like, you should watch these, about Sherlock's sister, but I enjoyed it very much and thought the writing was great. Enola Holmes 2, not as good as the first one in my opinion, but it did do a good job of keeping the pace up with the movie before. Pepsi, where's my yet? Pepsi threw a contest in the 90s and they clearly knew they did wrong based on the documentary because they tried to fix it and cover it up. So Pepsi's in the wrong here. I don't really care what anybody says. Completely, and the company knows. And if they technically owe him a jet, they technically do owe him a jet. I know that's not something that's actually possible. So I think they should give him a payout and at least admit their wrongs, but whatever. That's all I say. At least admit you're wrong. Disenchanted. First off, a huge fan of the original movie, and I think this movie technically doesn't need to exist. And all, but I enjoyed the nostalgia and the return of Edward, the best Disney prince ever, and the beautiful animation, which I love. It's like one of my favorite parts. I love 2D animation. It's like my favorite thing. And some of the songs really hit, especially Love Power. Urban Legend, a new series that does a different urban legend every episode, and it's actually really cool because I love stuff like that. I live off of it. Well, they do it very creepily, and they do it's like an anthology series, so they do an entire story based around one, and it takes up a whole episode. It's really interesting. The Bad Guys, also based on a book. I love movies like this. Bad guys become good in this. Don't judge a book by its cover kind of stuff, but love it. Auntie Lee's Meat Pies. This was supposed to be a comedy. I didn't find it very funny at all. I don't even remember laughing. I think they forgot the comedy part. But I was intrigued. A cannibal woman makes meat pies when her nieces use her looks to get random men they find out in the sticks to come over there. And these poor dudes, well, they're not even poor dudes, they should see this coming a mile away. These random women in the middle of the forest, and they're like, oh, come over to my house, and then they're like all over them. I'm like, dude, come on. But anywho, nope. Keke Palmer was in this, so that's my main reason for wanting to watch this. But you could tell from the trailer it was aliens, but that's all you can really tell, which I liked. They didn't really emphasize what was going to happen too much. But not normal aliens. More like it's a creature in itself. It was cool. Wednesday, as a big fan of the original show, I was very happy to see this. And Jenna Ortega shines in this role, and she is so beautiful. Honestly, you can't believe she's 20. I still remember her on Disney. The show's so well written. And we better get more of this show or I'm going to be mad. I hope next season is more of her at her house with her family, but also would have liked to see her at a normal school more, but it's fine. The show pays off a homage to the original show, and I love it. Reincarnated as a sword. Every month I say I hate isekai, and every month I find another one. Maybe I hate basic isekai, I don't know. Anyways, our main character is reincarnated as a sword. Shane finds a cat roll to pick up, and yeah, he's overpowered, but it's in a good way, since he's a weapon. Now for the meta section, Rosaline. I'm not a fan of Romeo and Juliet as a whole, anywho, but it's a comedic take on Romeo and Juliet, but with Juliet's cousin. The case of Hannah and Grace. These two girls try to solve a supernatural case. They live. Alien creatures come to take over and hide in plain sight. Only way to really see them is to put on these sunglasses, which causes the best scene in the movie to happen that goes on for far too long that it becomes hilarious.
Man, I told you, I didn't want to be in. You dirty motherfucker!
Take a look. Put them on. No! Fuck you. Look at them, they're everywhere!
I don't know, maybe they can see. Alley 5th and...
Jurassic World Validation. This movie definitely didn't need to be made. And this movie had good moments, but most of it was so dark. I'm like, so was the CGI that bad that they had to do that? Or was it to save money? I mean, I don't know, but it was just very, very dark. Like, I couldn't see anything for most of the movie. So despite everything, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving, and let's get ready for the holiday season.
Finish him!